was like, holy cow, Bambi.
How about,
Did he leave his skate guards on? You got to be kidding me. Like two other three guys that played in the band. I know you got more money than.
yeah, I was gonna say.
Like, it's an hockey. So we were playing here. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 9 of Crash Course, a hockey podcast. Corey Heon along with Joe Coombs and Alex Sherman. How are you, fellas?
Very well.
Here we go again. Do you guys believe it's episode 9?
No.
It's kind of
Feels like episode 100.
really. It just seems like we started yesterday, but we're over 2 months, really, if you do the math. It's kind of good.
It's been a fun process.
Fun. You know, we changed up the set a little bit. We got couches now. You know,
this
we got a mannequin with the Rhino jersey.
I want to have a nap right now.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Well, you guys can
I got here at 6:30 here, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Sitting on this couch, it's like
just
time for a nap.
make sure we can see your hands, fellas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Snuggles over there. So pretty good weekend for both clubs. Alec, you went for 2 for 3, which is great. Up at College Station.
Yeah. We didn't know how it was going to go. We came in, obviously they're fighting for possibly a playoff spot with how tight the division is, so we didn't know how it was going to go, and had a big win on Friday night.
I heard the Friday night game was all coaching.
It was all coaching.
That's
just what I heard.
It was 100% coaching. It was not players. It was not prep, nothing.
Nothing.
It was all coaching.
Coaching.
Yep. And then
Can't argue that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Of course you can.
I don't even think he'd attempt to.
Can't argue that.
I mean, we did prepare pretty well. I mean, you saw the meeting that we had. So, and then Saturday
I truly think I offended the man.
I think you did.
I think you did.
Yeah, I think you went back
You
up to
did.
his room and
I'm pretty sure you offended him. You know what I mean? Rumor has it he was all in, all for it.
he wanted film, and I gave him a
Studying notes.
pre-scout
Benching
diagrams,
guys,
and,
giving it
Hey.
special individual.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I would agree.
he got the game.
Especially in a good way.
He got the game puck, and he was very excited about it.
Yep.
I think it's on
Yep.
his desk right now.
It is.
And then Saturday, came out, had some stupid penalties which killed us. Just brutal, just absolutely brutal. Just not thinking, it was about them, not about the
Yeah.
team. And I got on them about that pretty hard. And then on Sunday we came back and finished out the series.
What was the final Sunday?
3-1.
I got to be honest. I a couple of weeks ago, well, maybe 3. I literally quit looking, like when you're playing, because you win all the time, which is great, and I just assume you win by 8. And when I came
wish
in
I
on
did.
Sunday, I was like, I forget what I said, but I said something to somebody. It was maybe Brownie, and he was like, no, they lost last night. I was like, what?
Yeah. First game back.
I didn't.
Yeah, welcome back, bud.
Welcome back.
I didn't do anything. I was like, I'm not watching it. They're going to win by 6.
Yeah.
It's a tough place to play.
It's a tough place to play. They added some
Do
pretty
they have a
solid
concession
players.
stand there now?
They do. They got a little pro shop. They're big on figure skating there, too. And
It's
public
right across
skating.
from the football stadium, right?
Not right across. No.
But it's
a
across
little-
from A&M.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
it's
see A&M from the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have a little concession stand there with a little pro shop for figure skating stuff and a little bit of hockey stuff in there, and it's a nice facility. It's just tough to play in because there's probably more people in the facility here right now than there would be during the game.
Oh, you're creating your own environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the big speech on Friday, is that you have to create your own, because it's not going to happen.
Which blows me away because there's so much obviously student athlete there and student audience.
Like dollar beers wouldn't get them in the door?
Something.
Like, honestly.
I mean, I think we had a bunch of people travel to come. There was a bunch of Rhino jerseys in the stands.
How far trips that for you?
It was like 10,
about
11.
10 or 11.
Yeah. I mean, on the way home, it was.
Well, I was
How far away was it for the guy that coached on Friday night?
this far. I heard.
I see.
But I heard all he did.
He didn't offer for you to come, eh?
Oh, no.
Too much responsibility.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah. You're not doing anything. You're getting on the bus.
Yeah.
I heard
And
there was a
then
whole lot of.
I had to bring a
studying going on
suitcase back, too.
Yeah.
So
Did you really?
Yeah, man.
he had
Oh
stuff
my
that was
God.
over 3 ounces, so I had to bring it back.
Yeah.
He had to bring his suitcase
I
back.
ordered him dinner,
That one
and then I had to
might
bring
have
his
been left at
suitcase
the
back.
concession stand right next to the figure skating
When I was
booth.
packing on Thursday or whatever day it was, Wednesday night, I didn't think I just packed my normal traveling bag. You know what I mean? So I had a lot of stuff in there. I was like, crap. And I ain't checking it. You know what I mean? So thanks, Al. Appreciate you, buddy.
Least I could do.
Least I could do.
But I tell you that the tape, the studying of the game on Friday afternoon, I tell you, you're prepared, man. There's no doubt about it.
I have to be. Not doing it by myself. I don't have anybody else to lead.
And the whole way up there, I was like, dude, you can only prepare for so much on this 11-hour bus ride. You know, like it was constant, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but at some point, I think there would be some overthinking. I don't know, maybe not.
Well, I don't think you can ever be too prepared. I thought it was funny because when I started giving it to the coach, the intern.
Yeah.
And then I get a picture, and I'm just sitting there. It's like, wow, there's some pretty in-depth sheets going on there. They got logos, and guys are supposed to be swinging this way and that way. And quite honestly, I was like,
some good stuff.
Well, it's all great, and I'm sitting there going, well, I don't have that. I was like, well, I think I need to get that.
Well, you got Catapult with the video system where it makes it a lot easier than the...
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. See, all right, I understand what you're doing now. Okay.
But it was
Windows 6 doesn't do video
Windows
very
6.
well.
But it was very well put together, and there's no question about that, and it certainly helped the coach out a lot.
Let me ask you this. Do you get a thumb drive?
No.
So you are entirely responsible for getting NHL TV?
Yeah. Well, it's TPE or
NA TV. Same as what you got.
Well, yeah, but we use our own video, and because you can't get it till morning, right? So we use.
But they don't do that no more. What you're talking about, the thumb drive?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you do, but
you guys they can't.
They could, but they don't. The visiting team's not.
I don't because my Exos computer.
Yeah,
I don't think has because I was thinking the other day when I saw what I saw on the sheet, I was like, you know what?
You could probably talk to Miguel.
You need to do this.
Yeah.
Well, we have an old Exos computer that I know it's from Jamestown, and I just cat's out of the bag there. And it's getting fixed.
That's one that was supposed to be used for Exos only, but
no, and I don't know what happened to it, but those computers the one you get, we have two, but the one you get is a high-end computer. High-end computer. And something happened to it, but it was one we brought with us that was infected.
No.
And we sent it to, what's the gentleman's name that does a lot of RIT around here? Pete?
He does it. No, but we sent it to Chris Claremont.
Okay, I'm not sure who the gentleman is, but he's had it for 3 months. He's had it for 3 months.
Have you thought about asking to get it back?
Oh, yeah. We've called. We've called a bunch of times.
And what's he saying?
Oh, yeah, waiting for a part on it, and it should be in. So a month ago when we called.
I don't know who you send it to.
Yeah, he's got a chipped tooth.
Is it Dr. Sharp? Is he?
Well, Dr. Sharp's buddy, who he does all the wiring around, and I think so, around the building. And
that would be Pete.
It's Pete?
If that's the guy.
Yeah, I think it's Pete.
I thought it was Pete, yeah.
Anyway, we don't have the computer back, but anyways, long story. My point is that when we do, or we have something capable that we can help you with to make your life miserable, if you have thumb drives, because ultimately you don't get your game until 10 a.m. the next day. Well, you as a coach, you're up at crack of dawn.
Yeah.
And like for us on Saturdays, we have our meeting at 10 a.m. So I can't wait for our video until 10 a.m. So, but it's something that you need to learn to use, and it should be very advantageous to you, which we will do that when.
Well, I have the
one or the other.
I have the Stiva account, but it is so ancient.
Yeah, it don't work.
It there's no point. There's no point in me wasting my time trying to.
Well, do you have a Mac?
I have a Mac, but I bought a used PC to put that on.
And they don't. Yeah, it's terrible. Steve is terrible. Yeah.
So back to the weekend. 4 points puts you in second place.
Keeps us in second.
Keeps you in second place.
Yep.
And then it's just it's mathematically you need four more points to lock up.
2 more wins.
Home ice advantage for the playoffs for the first round.
Yep.
Can you get first?
No.
You just need 4 more points to lock second.
Yeah.
And that is, you have Mid-Cities coming in here?
We're going
there.
Mid-Cities.
Go to Mid-Cities for 3, so that, hopefully.
Well, if we can't look over them. Last year at the end of the season, we dropped a game to them. They came out and had,
Yeah.
I think I was talking to Fritzy about it, and I think there was like 48 block shots or something. They were.
Oh yeah,
doing
no, they're
everything
going to be
they're
going to
gonna
play
be
spoiler
coming,
for sure.
Well,
Why wouldn't
are
they?
they good?
No.
I mean, they only lost to the Brahmas by 4 or 5 this
No,
weekend. So,
last set of
I mean, we beat them 14-0 the last time we played them, but that's.
But that's going to be the mentality that the players might carry into
Yeah.
the weekend, and that could hurt you very
Big
much
time.
so. But
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that,
for sure.
that preparation is huge for you.
Yeah, and I think all we need is 1 point to clinch a playoff spot. But if we get
Yeah.
4, we clinch second. So that's how tight it is.
And it's obviously it's great for the league that it's so close for the top because there's 5 teams in the mix.
Yeah,
Fighting for 4 teams fighting for 3 spots.
yeah,
Which is coming down to the wire because Louisiana's tied for 4th.
yeah,
With the game in hand, right? But,
yeah.
but
And they
it'll-
got Atlanta, who just took New Mexico to overtime.
Yeah, so you never know.
You never know.
So
And
the-
Brahmas
No, it's why
play
you
the
play the game.
Roadrunners. So I told Beavis, I said, hey, beat up on Chad and the Brahmas a little bit
Yeah.
after the game on Sunday. He said, oh, we will. So
So it'll
You know,
be a
who
great
knows?
great weekend of hockey for the NA3 in the South Division for sure. Then moving over to you, Joe. Good weekend or good game on Sunday. Started off a little slow out of the gate and then picked it up.
Yeah, I thought, it's no secret what the game plan was. They played Friday and Saturday. We didn't play at all. In fact, we've been off 4 days, so I had some big concerns coming in that we were going to have a little bit of rust, and we got off to a really quick start. I think we had about 6 good shifts right out of the gate, and we were up 1-0, and I think there was a bit of a mentality change where our guys were like, oh, wow, we're going to crush these guys. And that's not how it went at all.
No.
And, then we got back to turning pucks over, and there was some rust for sure. But, in the end, we had some timely goals, and we'll take the 2 points. They're that was a great weekend for them traveling, and then I think they were flying home, and I think they
They go back out.
and they go back out again to Corpus Christi, which is your farthest trip of the year. So they're going to be a little road weary, but not my concern. But we'll take the 2 points. It was a game in hand, which was really important too because Odessa beat Amarillo twice,
Which is good for us.
Yeah,
Big time.
So our issue here and our focus the last couple of weeks is, we got to get to a point where we're beating the teams above us. We sort of split with the teams around us, and the teams below us we handle, and then the 1 or 2 teams above us were, it's not going our way, and that needs to change. So it was a good break. I know the guys. I think there was probably 12 or at least 12 that we had given some time off to, and a lot of guys went home for 4 days, and there's some guys that stayed and put in some extra work too. So really happy with those guys right now. I know that.
Yeah.
The other guys, it is what it is. I understand, but I certainly know as a first-year player, I wouldn't have been going home. Sorry.
There's. And
I know what I said. Go home, have a vacation,
Yeah.
and they took me literally.
You just testing the water a little bit.
yeah, they didn't dip their feet in.
Yeah.
They jumped in it.
But it was, I remember those days. But, and then this weekend, the Brahmas coming in. You just talked about beating the teams above you, which they are. So it should be, Dan will have those guys rolling.
Talked to Dan yesterday. So, we'll be rolling too. We had a good day today.
Yeah.
Had a real good skate. Wasn't long, but it was short, only about 55 minutes, and so we're gonna do a couple things here twice this week. Where usually we hit on a lot of things once, and there's a couple things that we're gonna change in our approach. Last time we played them 4 straight.
Yeah.
And, we won the game, first one, and then you have a team like that coming in here, and in one case, splitting is good, In another case, it's like no.
Right.
I want them both.
Yeah.
well, we got them again, so you can't win 2 if you don't win the first one. So obviously Friday nights,
And I think it's going to be pumping in here. 100%.
Usually is.
Usually is. Saturday definitely booming. We had a decent crowd this past Sunday. Corey and I were talking about that this morning. It was just one of those things like you get Friday, Saturday, no game, and then you think that there would be a huge attendance on Sunday, which wasn't necessarily the case. But I don't know, man. We try to figure out the rhyme and reason to when and why people show up. It's Friday's usually a little bit lighter than Saturday, and Saturday's usually a pretty full house. And Sundays when it's scheduled, and there's.
I thought first Sunday was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't bad, but I anticipated a little bit better than what it was.
Yeah,
especially with Paint the Ice, the big event that we did afterward, which is totally cool. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. There's a lot of good events here, but I was pretty happy with, because I hear you guys talk and it's like, oh, Sundays are, it was like, oh, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I know more than Odessa gets.
Right. Right. No, for sure. But it was good. Like, so this weekend will be really, really good. There's a lot going on. There's a boxing event going on over at the Coliseum. So this place, the whole complex per se, will be pretty busy. And then you're taking off Thursday morning.
Getting back Monday morning,
and we'll seal the fate hopefully on Saturday.
Hopefully,
because where is Mid Cities?
Dallas.
Yeah,
Northeast Dallas,
it's like Ulysses or whatever.
Ulyss.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So yeah, the environment will be a lot like it was in College Station.
Yeah, and I'm hearing there's going to be a bunch of Rhino fans, so that'll be good to kind of have that atmosphere a little bit there.
Yeah, for
as well.
sure.
So I was actually talking to the bus driver. I don't know if throwing this out right now. On the way back, he said, if you guys make it to the second round, he would be volunteering for driving a bus of fans up to wherever we go. So,
Oh, really?
maybe we talk about that.
Yeah, for sure.
You go to Buc-ee's?
No,
I like Buc-ee's.
I love Buc-ee's.
Yeah,
but we
there's
didn't
not.
go.
The crazy part here is you can go from here across Texas to the dead east, and there isn't one. There's Austin, but when you go to where you're going, there is one.
There is one.
Yeah,
I will look it up.
yeah,
before we go.
there is one.
We used to stop at
Buc-ee's is great, man.
Yeah.
but there was like an Allsup's big truck stop that our bus driver just loved going there because they had the gizzards.
Of course.
Oh, do they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he'd pull in there, and the
Gizzards are
chimichangas at Allsup's, they're pretty good.
We stopped somewhere on the way back.
You got to be careful, but they're pretty good.
Oh, I'm sure.
Dude, gizzards are. I had no idea it was a gizzard. Now, when I lived in Kansas, and
Tell me you didn't eat them.
oh yeah, I love them. I cook them on a regular basis. Gizzards, chicken gizzards. Oh my god! So we had this place, Petro Deli, 75 North, out of Topeka, and you get a bag. It's a brown paper bag, and a little more like a popcorn bag than a
Grease is seeping out.
and the
fried.
grease is just seeping out of this bag, and I'm like, dude, what are you eating? Like gizzards? Like what is that? That's gross. He goes, well, it's what they gravel with. It's the rough part which they gravel.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, well, let me try one of those things. And I'm going to tell you, since that day, like last night, I was at the grocery store and I looked at a pack, and you can get a whole pack of gizzards for like $2.
I bet you can.
Super cheap.
Yeah, and do you like them?
I don't mind them.
I love them.
I'm not looking for
Love
them, but
'em.
if they're there, I'll eat them.
Love them.
So what are you eating with? Like ranch dressing? So like
No,
it's
you
popcorn
fry
chicken?
them on in the breading. You can put whatever breading you want on them, like whatever, whether it be.
Whatever kind of sauce you like, just dip it.
Yeah,
I'm good, man.
You don't
I'm
even
good.
need it, but you know what? Salt.
Yeah. If you're ever in Potterville, Michigan, there's a place called Joe's Gizzard City, and that's
No
what
way.
they serve. Yeah,
Where is that? What city?
Potterville. It's on the west side of Lansing,
Ooh.
right over where I grew up.
Right off
But it's like that's
right
what
off
their favorite.
76.
And it's called
75,
Gizzard
yeah.
City.
Joe's Gizzard City. Yeah,
Wow.
That
Look it
sounds
up.
pretty. I'll tell you what. If you ever go by, if you ever go in 75 North out of Topeka, Kansas, Petro Deli, the
But make
best
sure
gizzards
you-
from across the country.
Make sure you stop if you can at Allsup's and get a chimichanga.
Okay. I'll try.
They're pretty good.
I mean, I had a cheddar brat wrapped
I'm
in a
hungry.
tortilla at a truck stop this weekend.
Yeah.
So
Where do you get gizzards in El Paso
have no
other than
idea.
at the grocery store?
I don't know.
Chicken.
I'm sure they're around.
I'm sure there are.
Somebody send in a note or something and say, "Hey, where can you get really good gizzards?"
speaking of notes, so we're doing paint the ice on Sunday after the game. There was this lady, her name's Andrea, and I'm not gonna give out the last name, but she came up to me. She said, "Hey, you're the guy that does the podcast." I said, "Yes, I am." Didn't know if this was a good thing or which way it was going, but I said, "Yes, I am." She's like, "Absolutely love it. You guys do a great job." And, not a huge sports fan, but she's a diehard hockey fan. And they're from Cruces. They come every single game, and they sit up in Section I. They just purchased balcony seats for next year. Awesome. And they're still learning the game. They're from England. And
that's awesome.
She'd asked, if, and Joe, I talked to you about this before, if we can explain some not, I guess, the rules, some of the penalties that are called, why they're called, why are things missed. So it brought me to another thing, and I've said this before on the podcast, like, people just reach out to me on my social media and ask some questions, and we'd love to share them and get some answers going. And I know there was a young lady that asked for us to put replays on here and kind of talk about some of the highlights that had happened this past weekend.
Sure.
Joe, you're at home. Let's start with you. First one, big fight.
Oh,
big one.
that was a dandy.
And I called that before the game. I was sitting with the UTEP football guys. I said, number 8 will go, and same with your boy.
Well,
those two will check. Now, I didn't say that they were going to fight.
I didn't know it was happening. I mean, Brad Walker is,
he's a man.
He's a man. Absolutely love the kid as a person and as a player.
His demeanor is...
He's mean.
But you wouldn't know it.
No, you wouldn't know it. But I went into the schools I've talked to. It's like, I get phone calls on other players from around the Division II, just because it's, I've been doing this a long time, and I always laugh. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what do you mean? I'm like, I got Brad Walker. Like, why do you want that kid when I got Brad Walker? Like, Brad Walker is somebody that I believe you win a championship with. Like, he's that kind of competitor that just refuses to go away. And I think that fight was the epitome. I was talking to an NHL scout yesterday, and it was one of those old fights where you duck it and you just chuck it, and there was no defense. And as you well know, that's a tough way to fight. As you do too.
Yeah, I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
And they just got after it. And I didn't talk to Brad about it until this morning. And I asked him, I said, "Did you get hit at all? Like, it looks like you ate a couple." And he goes, "If I did, I didn't feel it."
Yeah. When it happened, and Herm and I were talking because we like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Herm did it a lot too.
Real quick, we don't support it.
Right.
Though. We don't support it.
Yeah, we do.
No, I don't anymore. I don't support it anymore.
But Herm and I talked after, and it was a good one. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm lost right now. You don't support what?
Well, the league tells me I can't support it.
All right, I was hoping I
sent you a couple videos this weekend.
But it was a good one, man. That fight was certainly it was one of the better ones I've seen in a while. They both just stood there, chucked.
Yeah, and
I'd give the upper hand to, obviously, Walker. I think came out on top of that, but
as do I. But I think why it happened.
You just stand in there, man. Give her.
Walker hit somebody earlier in the game, and the kid left the ice with a bloody face. Now, the hit was good. The referees came over because he was complaining at the end of the first period. So the referee had come over and started talking to me. I'm like, "Why are you over here?" And literally goes, "Well, I just talked to him." He goes, "I thought maybe you want to know." I said, "I don't want to talk to you." And I said, "Do you have something for me?" And he goes, "No." He goes, "I'm just talking to you because I thought it would make it equal." And I'm like, "Well, what were you talking to him about? Why don't we do that?" And he goes, "Oh, it was about the hit that wasn't called." And I said, "Hit that wasn't called?" I said, "That was a great hit." He goes, "That's what I thought." I said, "All right, man, see you later."
Yeah.
But the kid had left with some blood on his face, so I don't know if Miller was the one that got hit, or he was just defending. He was defending the hit, or I don't know. I don't matter. I looked at it when we watched it again this morning, and 4-2 is a tough. 4-2 is a tough time to fight. I mean, you're up by 2. Things don't go well. They get a little momentum.
That was
from
early
it.
In the second too.
Yeah, really early, and there's some guys that would say no. There's some guys that say yes. I don't think personally there's ever a bad time.
No, unless it's under 5. Where you're going to carry it over to the next game.
Carried over, but it was two.
I don't think there's
two
a
big
bad
kids, and we like the Miller kid. I know that there was a couple people that reached out to me over before the trade deadline and said,
Yeah, that would have been
interested.
That would have been a pickup.
In Miller, and I was like, well, I don't know if he's available, but I said, I liked, he plays a lot.
He plays
for them.
that way.
He does. He plays with a lot of jam. He plays with a lot of edge.
Big kid,
but he plays a lot for that team. Where my thought process was, if to call to inquire, was he ain't playing that much for us. So, and I think he's an 05.
He's young.
He's a young kid, which makes you want to get him, but at the same part,
Because he wouldn't see the ice time here as he does there.
No.
And West did good, scored 2.
Yeah. I thought 2 bad ones.
Still count.
No, good for West.
Yeah.
Bad for
Right.
Like I literally, the first one from where I was standing was we had a bad angle off the post, and it was a nice shot. Don't get me wrong, but the posts are there for them to be hit and then bounce out, not in.
Unless you're shooting.
And then the second one was the same place,
Yeah.
which you already got beat there once, son.
Figure it out.
But what's the lady's name that spoke to you? Susan?
Andrea.
Yeah. The penalty side of it, why they're called, I think we as a whole can say a lot of the time we don't know either. What penalties are.
Let's pick a penalty in the game that was questionable. I don't know if there were
I thought
any.
he did a really good job on Sunday.
So the fight itself. So for those that are, Andre, this is for you. So a fight before the third period with 5 minutes left in the game, you get an automatic 5 minutes for fighting and a 10-minute misconduct. That's just the way it is with the USA Hockey. It has to be called. Now, if it's under 5 minutes in the third period, you carry a game suspension into the following game, meaning you cannot play.
And if you get an instigator,
meaning you're starting it.
You're starting the fight, you get 2, and the guy that you instigated it with gets nothing.
Yeah.
And
with no carry on. He still gets his 5-minute penalty,
Sure.
but no carry on to the next.
And then there's the helmet removal.
Yeah.
If you take off your helmet or someone else's helmet, then that's another game.
Remember when they came out with that rule a few years back when you used to take each other's off?
Yeah.
Just out of respect? I don't know why anybody would take their helmet
I didn't wait
off.
long enough.
No, I was no. We weren't
No.
we weren't taking these off.
A lot of guys were bigger than me.
You
Mostly
needed-
I
everybody.
always took mine off. But I would spin it and I'd try to knock them out before it stopped spinning. Never worked, but I tried.
little Superman punch.
Yeah, just come in. Yeah. But yeah, that's I guess to just kind of go off the fighting. We can explain that, but I didn't think that he called a bad game or there was anything.
No, Andrew, that was one of the better games. I like him as an official.
Who'd you guys have?
Cornucker,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, he let a lot of stuff go, which is great. But it was both sides.
It was both sides. He only called. Well, they had 3 power plays. We had 2.
Yeah.
I think, which is perfect.
You got to get the power play going.
Yeah, Reg, I'm working on it.
Yeah, just throwing that out there.
When you figure it out, can you help me too? Because
I literally thought today before I came up here, I literally was going to ask some questions as some guys were walking in the door because I can't agree with you more. And literally, we might go wholesale change. Literally wholesale. So,
Yeah, I don't know.
It's something I've been thinking about for a couple weeks.
If
Because
if you knew the answer to that $1 million question, you wouldn't be coaching at this level. Same with you.
Yeah.
Well, but here's the question. I watch hockey.
Yeah, here, I'll tell you what it is. A lot of it. And I've said this before. I'll say it again, and I'll say it till the day I die. These guys using 77 flexes that cannot catch a flipping pass, and you see it all day long.
All day long.
Comes back to German. Boring. Boring.
I agree.
And you tell
All
them,
day long.
And they just look at you and say, but yeah, coach, I could shoot at 100 mile an hour.
So
Well, wonderful. How many shots you get on net? Oh, but 1 every 3 games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, how many passes do you catch in the 3 games? Well, probably 50.
Change to 100
but
flex.
it don't matter because that
100,
one
110
shot,
flex.
like it's so
Terrible.
That's terrible.
So I'm you guys know what I'm talking about. For those listeners out there, watch every time a pass is made. It doesn't matter if it's really it doesn't matter how far, but 5-10 feet. You watch that puck come off his stick as he's trying to receive.
It explodes
Bring.
like a hand grenade.
When's the last time you seen a slap shot? When's the last time you seen a goal by a slap shot?
Woody had one this weekend.
So when's the last time prior to that?
I don't know. Every time that somebody takes a slap shot now, the sticks shatter.
And you don't know where they're
Because
going.
then you don't know because they're using
That's the only
75
shot I would
flex,
ever
yeah.
take. 110 flex, I don't care if I was in the hash marks, they're going high and hard.
Yeah, the slap shot's a
Scored
little bit
75 in
non-existent
Pup
because
A.
of the way the game's played now with taking away time and space. We didn't have that luxury. I thought the game was more enjoyable to be played. And it's no different than the point I was going to make about the power play is I watch NHL hockey every single day. I'm a hockey nut, and I think the game is boring.
Did you see the open net slap shot in the female game?
About the college.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that girl?
awesome. Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Good for her.
She's a gopher. That's exactly what the Gophers stand for you Gophers out there. Peace. Yeah, rock on. Whatever. Gophers. Come on, give me a break.
That was funny, though.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
it
it was.
exactly explained who the Gophers were. That's exactly who it explained.
Joe, are you trying to tell me?
I don't like the Gophers. Can't stand them.
I'm not talking about the Gophers.
Can't
I'm
stand
talking
them.
about, you're trying to tell me, Joe. I got to be careful here. You had a breakaway, open net, and you're playing against your rival. You wouldn't do that? Heck yeah, I would.
No.
All day long.
No.
I would.
No. Well, then you're going to fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. I know that's no problem with you, but it's a problem today. So I'll tell you a quick story.
You wouldn't do that.
No.
You would.
No, I wouldn't do that. And
I probably wouldn't have the opportunity.
Here's two things. Here's two things. So my son played
Your
a game.
son would do it.
Yeah, and he'd get in trouble. That's the story I'm going. So on this weekend, my best friend, one of my best friends, lifelong friends, is the director of scouting for the Vancouver Canucks. So he calls me on Saturday morning, and he says, "Hey, I'm watching Ritter play today for the first time." And I said, "Oh, cool." So I sent Ritter a message, which was a little late because he called me about an hour before the game. So I knew Ritter was probably busy, and I said, "The man from Van is in the house." And Ritter had to. I wasn't just going to tell him who was there. I was going to put a little riddle to it and say, "Hey, well, who's here?" Well, he's going to figure it out. So anyway, so he goes about his game and he scores a really nice goal. Ritter does, and he sellies, which I happened to see it again today on Instagram, I think. And so anyway, Ritter knows Todd very well. We were in each other's weddings and whatever. So after the game, I called my wife and I said, "Hey, did Harv talk to Ritter?" And he goes, "Oh yeah." He said, "Didn't go very well." And I said, "Oh really?" I said, "What did he say?" He said, "You ever selly like that again, kid? And I'm going to walk back down here and smack you upside the head."
I got to see it. Send me the selling.
And so my wife says, "Well, it's Billy's goal. It was Billy's celebration, and Billy, graduated." And I guess they spoke before the game, and Billy said to Ritter, "Hey, if you scored today, give me an honorary Billy." And I said to my wife, "See where Billy gets you?" So, and then yesterday afternoon, Todd called me and he goes, "Hey man, really impressed, whatever." And he goes, "But don't tell me you haven't taught him anything, because he can't sell you like that." I'm like, "I hear you, man." So now I'm getting it too. But, it's no different. We talked yesterday about the lacrosse goal. And it has nothing to do with the ingenuity of it. I love that goal. I think it's so talented. I think it's an amazing way to score a goal. But it is so disrespectful to the team you play against.
Absolutely.
And I said to our guys, "Do you want one scored on you?" Because we had one this year.
See,
we had one a year ago.
The difference between, my opinion, that goal, the Michigan, versus teeing it up on a breakaway in an open net, two different things.
No.
I agree with Joe on this one.
It's a complete disrespect for your opponent.
Two different things.
And you can, you know what?
You're trying to tell me if that puck isn't on its side already helping you out, and you're not going for it? Yeah, you are. Yeah.
No, not a chance.
I beg to differ.
No, because I knew that I didn't want what was coming after. If it's an empty netter, I just want seriously.
Nothing
the
happens,
game's almost over.
Nothing happens now in these games anyway.
Oh, today? You're asking me if I played today?
But nobody would have.
Yeah,
okay.
because there's not a single lick of accountability. But when you and I played hockey,
20 years ago,
I'm going to put that thing in the empty net. And I'm going to pivot backwards just because you might have slid it in the empty net. It still might have been wrong.
I would have teed it up for sure.
But I that's what everybody, and I listened to a podcast yesterday, and I listened to a little bit of one over the Chiefs, our boys.
Our boys, look at you guys.
Our boys.
Go Chiefs.
Yeah, and it was, I listened to it for the very first time about the Kelseys. And it was awesome. And I'll tell you what, Travis is the older one, right? Jason?
Jason's the older one.
Jason is a cool dude, man. Like, I would really like to meet him. I really would. Like,
Yeah.
I got a lot of respect for that guy.
You see him run that marathon?
Yeah. And then his brother, right, which is now
That's Kelsey.
that's Travis, right?
Travis Kelsey. Mhm.
Like,
That's Taylor
he's
Swift.
a great player. He's a good guy or whatever. Like, but it's not his brother, you know? And they were talking yesterday, and they entirely explained what happened on the sideline between two competitive people. And what was said was absolutely dead on the truth, and nobody cares what goes on except the guy saying, well, that's not okay. Well, you know what? It was okay. It was between two competitive people that understand one another. And that's where there's unwritten rules in sports where those are the things that have left our game.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's okay, me personally.
It's changed a lot. There's no doubt
do
about
I
it.
still think it's a great game? I mean, hockey is the most beautiful game on earth. It's poetry in motion when you get to play it at the highest level and you see the plays that can be made, and but that stuff. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, no, I'm not on.
I don't know.
Not for me. Not on board.
no.
And I would
you
be
were the
ready.
guy
for
that
it.
I guess we'll.
I would be ready for it if I
I guess we'll choose to disagree on this one.
But I no. But I also wouldn't be out there when there was an empty net, probably. So I probably wouldn't have the
So,
opportunity. And I don't have the hands to do the Michigan. So
would some of what you did would be an extra step on the throat?
Yeah, probably.
Because I know you, like, and you have no problem putting an exclamation point on something,
Yeah.
right? Me neither.
Yeah.
But when you do that,
See, like
it's a.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't really think twice about it. To be honest with you.
For the new viewers that are listening and stuff, why is it disrespectful to shoot on an empty net? And
Well, you're supposed to skate down, and
You
a lot
just
of the
slide
time,
it in there.
and just slide it in, and because you're going to put it in the net, right? I mean, Alexander Ovechkin's all-time leading now in with empty netters,
yeah.
and I think it was what has he got, 59 or 61? I forget what the number was, but you just slide him in. Hey, you know what? It's not your night tonight. We're going to put an exclamation point on this. Bang bang. So when you go down and you do something arrogantly, that team that said, "Hey, okay, you got us tonight, but now you're embarrassing us." Like, that's not okay. So there's just a lot of unwritten rules in sports that unless you play the sport, you don't understand, and that's one of those unwritten rules. I mean, like the Greg kid. I mean, these kids are coming in now into the National Hockey League with not a lick of respect for somebody that's been doing it 10, 15 years. And that kid might be in the league for, a month. Here's one. The other day, I was watching Missing Curfew. And remember the Tortorella fight with Vancouver and Calgary where Torts went in to beat up. So,
Torts ain't beating up anybody.
and maybe not, but I love him.
Oh yeah,
But
for sure.
do you know the one guy that was in that fight? Never got another shift nor another game in the
I believe
NHL.
that. Yeah.
So
What about the guy that
and
hit
Hartley
Gretzky?
was the one that put him on the ice, right? Like, so he sent his lineup over, which you have to as the guest team, right, as the visiting team, and Sean O'Brien, who the host of the podcast, was a pretty tough cat, and he was sitting on the bench going, "Well, how come I'm not in the lineup?" Well, they called this one kid up. Anyway, that's besides. But it was the only shift he ever played in the NHL.
Yeah.
Went out, got into a fight, never played another shift. Well, got kicked out, got sent back down, never played another game in the NHL. Like, I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have the respect to ask
No,
a guy
yeah,
to do that?
I-
Give him a shift, for God's sake.
Right, for sure.
But then again, I don't know Bob Hartley, and I can't question that kind of stuff, but
what about Matt Rempe?
love him.
I hope he sticks.
I hope so too.
I really do.
I think he's probably petrified now that he lost a fight about sticking.
I don't know, man.
Who do you lose to?
Oh, you didn't see it?
I don't know if he lost
Olivier.
bad.
Oh, no. He didn't lose good. But then again,
When was that?
All
I missed
respect to both those guys. I'm not on Sunday afternoon.
He got him good. They were going toe to toe, and then Olivier got
So
one.
John Scott, you guys know John Scott?
Yeah.
So he was talking about what Rempe did, where he reached in and grabbed him from behind.
Yeah.
And John Scott, being as big as John was, he would grab you in the front and then shove his fist up into your throat
Yeah.
to make you uncomfortable as you fought. Well, when Rempe's so long, when he grabbed him, he didn't grab him from the front, he grabbed him from the back. and then pulled him in.
Yeah.
Well, Olivier is 6'2", 217. He's 6'5", 241.
Yeah.
Well, what he ultimately did was he brought him into him where now he could reach him
Yeah.
instead of keeping
Because he
him
probably
out.
had 3 inches.
Yeah. Oh, at least tail of the tape.
Oh, yeah.
There might be 3 or 4 inches on those arms. You know.
That's what you teach the smaller guys. Get inside, get in close.
Yeah.
And then
Wendell Clark.
Just
Well, I never
grab
saw
on
Wendell
and-
Clark get punched in the face. I mean, I
can't.
did, but never scarred. But
I got beat up so bad at home one night. We were here in the Coliseum. It was we were killing a penalty, and I got smoked. I just dumped the puck out, and I got run over, and I was winded. So my teammate jumped in there, and there was a scruffle, and again, we're killing the penalty. So I get in there, and I grab this guy that I'd fought before and done well. So as soon as I grabbed him, I just started throwing, and it looked like I wanted to grab on, but we fell. And just like you would do with your little brother or whatever, you pin the arms back like this with your
You
knees.
pinned your arms
Oh
back?
my God! And then he pulled my jersey up over this way, and I was
fed
just
you
a
your
sitting
lunch.
duck. And he probably fed me about 5 or 6, and he stopped. Thank God he stopped because he could have kept on going because there was a line brawl.
Yeah.
And the guy that went in to defend me, first of all, he's getting beat up worse than I was. So the attention was on him.
who were you playing?
We were playing. It was Austin Ice Bats.
Who were you fighting?
I can't remember. But after the game, I had 2 black eyes, and I was just like, God dang, dude.
It was time for a cold beer.
We're going to the bomb. But talking about it was a good one, certainly a good one. But Rempe, hopefully he stays.
I do. I couldn't be happier for that young man. I was so happy he scored his first goal on Saturday. I mean, can you imagine having one shift in the NHL?
No.
I can't. But can you imagine your first shift in the NHL
And fighting.
in an outdoor game in front of 75,000 people and fighting?
Pumped.
Oh my
I'd
God!
be so terrified. But
Yeah, oh,
I'd
yeah.
be pumped.
Yeah.
I'd be terrified to go for the first lap by yourself.
Yeah.
Did I forget my
Did
skate
somebody
cards?
put some tape on the bottom of my
right on.
skates, right?
Remember
I would've
those
been
days?
checking my skates before I went on the ice to make sure they're okay.
I used to be an artist with that.
Oh, clear tape.
Yeah, but you wouldn't. I would put it just on the very bottom.
Yeah, and we'd get a
you have-
razor blade,
yeah, uh-huh.
and we'd cut down the sides of it so that anybody couldn't even see it.
Yeah.
But it tape.
There's a lot of stuff went into those.
Oh my God!
It's worth it, every bit of it.
So last night on Ray Bork was telling a story yesterday, which is absolutely hilarious. That he had bought these new shoes, and they went out for dinner. Well, he took his shoes off and he put them up behind him because there was so much shoe checking going on,
Oh yeah.
and he ended up getting his lobster. He had these brand new pair of shoes with these tassels, and they ended up serving. He had ordered lobster. Well, they served the lobster to him in his shoes, which is really funny. So he was mad because they ripped the tassels off too.
Yeah.
So he says something to Adam Oates and says, "Hey, like, I want to know who did this. This is, I'm getting him." And so, anyways, there was a rookie on the team. I forget his name. This is last night that he went and got up to the bathroom. Well, Oatesy goes, "Hey man, it was him." So he went and got the kid's coat, took it into the kitchen, and said to the chef, cut the arms off the coat." Right? So he put the coat back on the chair. When the guy got up, he's now at a vest.
Yeah.
Right?
Awesome.
So he started screaming, "Who did this?" And Oatsy's like, "Well, what do you mean?" Like, he's like, "I told you." Bork's like, "I told you. You do this to me, you're getting it. I'm not doing that." Like, he's a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he comes out and Oatsy's looking at him and goes, "It was me."
Those are fun. That was the best part about road trips. and
Yeah,
stuff,
for
man.
sure. It's about having a good time. But those are all some of the unwritten
Yeah.
things, right? That people don't, if you're not in it, that don't get to be a part of our game. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
100%. Then that stuff staying in the game, which is great. I know the guys love the road trips and not the lengthy bus rides, but they like going on the road. And I enjoyed going on the road this past weekend. It was nice to do it. But this weekend, guys,
First class.
Yeah, of course.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
First class.
first class.
He wasn't at the back of the bus.
No, I told the driver I'm scoot over, bud.
Yeah, you're co-pilot this weekend.
I'm glad we switched drivers in Van Horn, though.
Oh, well, we got a third one on the way back who is maybe worse than the first one.
Who did you have?
We won't touch any of that, but it was, yeah.
Well, then
The-
I-10 was closed on the way back. So
Oh,
we
really?
stopped. So we stopped in Sonora
Yeah.
for food. We stopped in Fort Stockton for gas, and then we stopped in
Why would you need
Van
to stop
Horn.
for gas?
I don't know, Van Horn to switch drivers, and then we got to Horizon City, and then I-10 was closed. So it took us almost 3 hours longer.
I read that they were closing that because I was
Why'd they
going
close it?
west on Saturday.
They're doing some construct. I don't know if it's water,
Did you
electric,
see that?
or
I saw it
something.
on the overhead.
Both ways from Horizon to.
How long did you sit there for?
We got off at the exit and then took side street. I mean, we sat at the exit for a while.
Wow.
Because they were, the police were
Doing something.
I don't know. It was a mess.
Dude, that just makes you livid.
And you get there, it's like,
like
1 o'clock in the
3
morning.
days isn't enough.
Yeah.
Like it's not enough.
And then we get here at 3.
You know, whether you win all 3 or go 0-3, it doesn't matter. When you want to get home,
I made it back in about 2.5. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Your luggage took a little bit longer,
But it made it though. That's the main thing.
dude, I would have left that shit.
It would not, Joe.
put a lock on it.
Tape it up with duct tape.
Put a bike chain around it and
like,
say,
God.
"Hey, guess what? Hey, we left your stuff next to
Have you
the."
guys been in College Station Airport?
Never been to College Station Airport, but I've been to College Station.
It's not big. So there's 4 flights daily, American Airlines. And so
Direct?
No, nothing. No.
So your C10 was broken. Your G650.
Correct. Had to stop and refuel. Let Kim Kardashian off. But it was so. I think TSA was probably the length of our conference room here. So you get there. There's no I was probably the 6th or 7th person there in the airport besides 2 American airline agents. So we're sitting there and TSA's closed. Can't go anywhere. So TSA opens up an hour before you board, and there's like 4 or 5 of them. You just one after another, and again, it's probably the length of this, and then you just sit there, get on your plane.
Yeah, the guy
it was nice, a nice airport.
Yeah, the guy that drives the plane, the also guy's doing TSA.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Who forgot to start it?
No, they do that. When I lived in Dubuque, they did that where the people that did TSA were also the people that loaded the
Right.
planes, and they did everything. So you worked in sections, right?
Sure.
Everybody's here, get through security, then they lock you down again, and then they go outside and do a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Then they come back in and open the door, and then from that section they let you on the plane, and the same guy that loads it does everything. It's pretty funny. You know?
It was certainly
At least you know you can multitask. I look at some of those TSA
good
people
operation.
thinking they can't walk and chew gum, but
wow.
sorry.
There was a couple there that
Yeah?
maybe it was whatever. It was decent.
Jack James.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking about that, we got a very special guest coming on for the next segment of the show. Jacob Ardown from On the Bench.
Awesome.
It's gonna be a good time.
good.
Really, really good time. He messaged me a little bit ago, so he's pumped.
Right on.
He's pumped. So I think that'll be really, really interesting. So folks, don't tune out now. Well, tune out now, but make sure you stay tuned because it's going to be a wild one. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
You guys are going to join me on that one.
Yeah, looking forward to it. He's if you haven't watched it, you can get on
What's his handle?
It's his name, Jacob Ardown.
Jacob Bart on Instagram
On everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not-
and they're
yeah.
really funny.
Jacob
They got
Ardown, yeah.
I'm interested. My kids were right into it a bunch of years ago, and we used to watch them every new.
And we'll
one
thank
that-
my kid for that. I'm going to send a shout out to my kid for hooking that up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So thank you, Cameron.
Way to go,
Appreciate that.
Cameron.
But it'll be good. I'm looking forward to that, and we're going to do that here in the next segment. So it should be a lot
Good.
of fun. So
Look forward to it.
Until then, gentlemen. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our new segment, He on the Clock with Jacob Ardown from On the Bench. Welcome to this pod.
Thanks for having me, fellas. Appreciate it.
It's awesome to have you on, man. We're huge fans of yours, and Joe Coombs, our head coach of the North American team, and Alex Sherman with the head coach of the NA3 team. We all have kids, and they're super big fans of yours.
Appreciate it. Most people are, but I do appreciate hearing it.
Awesome. And you're a Canadian guy. You're in Airdrie, Alberta, suburb of Calgary. So I guess we got that in common.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Airdrie. I can't even afford a different outfit, so I don't think I'm leaving here anytime soon.
And the market we were talking earlier, the market is insane in Alberta, all over Canada, really.
Yeah, you can't even buy a house.
Can't even buy a house. Well, we were.
Well, do you have Jack James in common? You didn't.
No. He's taking a shot at me here. So born and raised in Airdrie, and you played hockey. Do you still, obviously you got some skill obviously with the videos. What give us a little bit of background.
Yeah, I was played all my hockey here, double A's, triple A's, and then aged out in the junior B team that was up here. But I'm just a small guy. I'm like 5'11", and at my peak, I was 148 pounds. But I play defense, and I like to fight, and I like to hit. And so all the coaches, everyone just always said I was too small, so I never tried harder to go anywhere. But yeah, I think it was a kind of bogus, because I hit people really hard, so there's no reason to take me off.
We're checking out your elite prospect. You got some solid numbers on there.
Oh, I was an absolute stud. If you look at the actual real one, I played 5 years junior, had 5 goals.
That's good.
One a year.
That's good.
That's consistent.
Yeah, at least you're consistent.
But I had the best plus minus in the league every single year, so I think I won that battle.
Right on. Right on. So how did you get started in this? With On the Bench, you and Oli, how did that come about?
Just honestly, just having fun. And we coached. So we coached Bantam AA for 2 or 3 years, and then that's how this started. But we would watch these kids, we were coaching them, and they're going 7 days a week, full bore, it's a job. They're 14 years old with no breaks. They're playing one sport year round. And I'm that's got to be consuming and tiresome. So when we were coaching and practicing, we just kind of screwed around, and, we had fun. We would go in the drills with them with no pads on, hacks and slashes. They had way more fun. They tried harder, and they learned a lot quicker. So that's kind of what inspired it. Was just, we want kids to stay in love with the game, and we want adults to re-fall in love with the game, because as far as we're concerned, it's the best game in the world, and it teaches you so much more than school. Anything like that is going to teach you in real life.
That's well said.
Yeah, it's for I know we feel responsible for trying to grow young people. If you can have your life in order and you're doing the things that you're doing, hockey's easy.
Yep.
And you keep a passion for it, and you come to the rink with some energy, but you take that energy away from them, or it's not fun to come, and it's no fun for anybody, and that's no way to have it.
It's super important, and the majority of life skills that I have, I attest to hockey. My parents putting me into hockey, and not being the douchebag parents that we all know are out there.
Yeah.
So we just want to keep people in the game, because I think it keeps people alive.
So.
Sorry, how long have you been buddies with Oli? Have you since you were little kids? I know you've been friends, but
way too long.
Way back.
So we met when I was 17. He actually moved from Ontario, Scumtario, whichever you prefer. Yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah, me too.
Joe's from there.
Oh yeah, terrible place, but
I'm from the home of Wayne Gretzky, man, Brantford. I'm still trying to fill those shoes,
There's some good players that come out of there, but if you look at the track record of all those players, they all move away. So it's got to say something.
I know. I haven't been home in 28 years.
So Oli moved to Airdrie.
Yeah. We met skateboarding. He just showed up at the park one day, and he seemed like a cool guy. He was good at skateboarding, so I asked him to join us on one of our adventures, and ever since then, we started playing hockey together, coaching together, and we were just best friends for, I guess, 17 years now.
That's awesome.
That's cool. That's cool.
So do you guys still coach at all?
No, with what we do and the amount that we travel, it's there's no consistency to it. So, and that's not fair for the kids, especially when they're developing. They need someone there that's going to be there for them all the time. So
yeah,
we step back from it, and then we'll try and hop on the ice here and there when we can, if teams ask us and we're in town type thing. But as for a commitment to a team, it's too difficult to do that, and keep the kids accountable when we're not accountable.
Yeah.
Is it something you want to get back into at some point?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love coaching. Love coaching.
Well, when you guys do your videos, from our standpoint or mine, you can just see, the love for the game that you guys have in the videos that you do, and just the camaraderie that you guys have together is absolutely amazing. And I think that would carry over to what you guys do for the little ones, or, the guys that you coach.
I appreciate that. And I honestly think it does. I'm really proud of what we've accomplished in this and some of the message that we've gotten, keeping people playing hockey. And like I said, getting back into hockey as older fellas or women for that matter. It's important, a lot of people forget how good the game can be, and they get too busy with life and everything like that. So when they can take a minute and laugh and just realize it's all for fun, it's really important. So hopefully we can just keep portraying that message, whether we're in the videos or we're behind the bench somewhere.
What are some of your guys' favorite videos that you see?
Well, I watched the one this morning.
Yeah.
I watched the one this morning, the hardest shot, and laughed my ass off. Honestly, we first on the bench, we were waiting for them to come out. Like we literally, and it was during that time when my family, my kids were, oh my God, a lot younger than they are now. But we just really enjoyed it. I have two daughters that don't play the game, but are very involved in my career and very involved in my son's career. And they were more into it than we were, and there was always something new and funny and a lot of the stuff outdoors. Wasn't there one? Didn't you do one with Jerome McGinley?
No, we didn't actually get to film with them, but we did meet him at one of the 200 by 85 tournaments.
Okay, but there's been a lot.
There's so many.
There's
like,
so many.
We were talking, Jake and I were talking before about the pucks when you're standing in that with your mask on and you're taking the pucks to the chest. Like that has to hurt, man.
So funny.
Yeah, it's it's part of the game though. Like we're all
So literally, that was going to be one of my questions. Like,
what do you got under there? You mostly Canadian, or what are you drinking?
This is it's fancy. It's a PBR.
I had to ask.
Classy.
I could go for a Molson Canadian right now.
But some of these things, like, what are some of the injuries that you guys have had doing?
Surprisingly, Oli got a concussion when we filmed with Drew Doughty. I think the worst that I got would be I did a flagpole celly. This is brand new in our career. When we filmed with the LA Kings, we had Jeff Carter, Tyler Toffoli, and Kyle Clifford. And it was just after I dropped the first flagpole celly. So I ripped one and we set it up. So as soon as I went parallel to the ground, Carts just swings his stick, takes it out, lands straight on my elbow. And I thought I just got swallow. And it was like 2 minutes later, blood's just pouring through the jersey that I was wearing. It's actually that one that's hung on the wall right now. Just pouring. It was dripping all over. So I just had like this massive pressure gash. Other than that, like no broken bones. I took a buck to the nose like 5 months ago, didn't even break it. So I'm just built different.
Yeah, man, I get that. But yeah, your cellies, now that you're talking about your flagpole and we're talking about the harpoon. The flagpole's definitely, I could see somebody getting hurt on that one.
Big time. Yeah, big time.
Have you seen it?
You got to commit to it. You got to commit
No,
to it.
100%.
I have not seen the harpoon. Yes,
harpoon's awesome. The Twizzler's good too. Yeah. But I would have to go with. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's some good ones. I've heard of a few kids trying the harpoon and getting the 10-minute misconduct. So I
can see
I don't know if it's approved by coaches all over the world, but it's definitely approved by me.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. That's the flagpole. You put the stick down, and you like a flagpole. You're kind of swinging around it. Yeah, there you go. There's probably multiple names you could call that, Sally. But yeah, no, that's I could see that one being one of the more difficult and injury-prone ones that you're doing.
for sure. It's definitely like I've tried it a few times on ice. You got to modify your twig just a little bit. So if you're using a woody or you got a plug in there, you can just put a 2-inch wood screw with leave like an eighth of an inch out, and then you'll jam up. But
or get a little bit of grip.
Yeah, you gotta grip that ice. You can't go on a fresh sheet with a brand new TJ on it.
Speaking about TJs, that's a tongue twister there for many reasons.
Yeah.
Some of your tape jobs. I watched the goalie one with the foil. Yeah. That's a pretty good
beautiful.
one.
Beautiful. I they're honestly, to me, like the Mona Lisa. Like I feel like a few of them are gonna get hung up in the Louvre or whatever it's called.
Yeah, there's definitely some dandies on there. What's your favorite one?
Yeah. I mean, my go-to is the candy cane basket. So you start with like 3 stripes on the back, and then it goes to a closed toe for my player's stick. And then the tendy one, I like the spiderweb style. So it just closes off that 5-hole. And you guys are coaches, so if you got a tendy that's struggling, just get them to use the sock tape in the middle, and it'll be set. No problem.
I just came out of a meeting with him. I didn't even think about it.
But yeah, some of the tape jobs that he comes up with, it's hilarious.
It's wild.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
The tendy one.
He was putting the cobweb. Did you see that one? But I don't know if the foil one would be good for an outdoor game in the summertime, or not summertime, but in the sunlight. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you don't want to go into an old dusty barn. You got to be in a fresh barn if you're doing inside, so you got that clean light that's reflecting off. But you got to be smart with your TJs. They're just as much of the game as like your skates are and your mitts and everything. They're a must-have.
Speaking about mitts, what kind of mitts you got there? Old CCMers?
No, these are
those Bowers?
Yeah.
Those are dandies.
We're actually Bauer athletes, surprisingly.
You are now, or you always have been?
We have been for 3 years now. So I don't know how that worked out, but like I'm not.
But it's working out
about it.
Yeah, but
all right, I get it. I get it.
We got they built these mitts for us. They put them in leather. They put our logo on everything, our names. And I'm like, I don't get why, but I'm not upset.
It's called arriving. Yeah. I've arrived.
You've arrived.
Biz time.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's funny. So you've been to the NHL All-Star game this year. How was that? Courtesy of Pink Whitney, right?
Yeah. So obviously it's nice to go with those fellas. All the Pink Whitney that you can imagine. The All-Star actually was better this year because they changed the skills and the games were a little bit more fun, but I just find them so gimmicky and like, I don't know, boring, I guess.
Would you like to see them go back to a real game?
Yeah, I want to see it. I was just talking to a guy I worked with about, do you guys remember when Jeremy Roenick just started laying the body?
Yeah.
That I want to see that. If you're a grinder and you're there, or that's part of your game, like just throw some rub outs. You don't got to kill anybody, but
no,
you got to play for keeps.
I remember the night. What was it? That Gretzky was Lemieux had 4, or Gretzky had 4, and it was 4-4.
Yeah,
it was like 19. Yeah, it was in St. Louis, I think. I don't know what it was, but that was a good hockey game. I want to see the best players play against the best players.
Yeah.
I don't want to see anybody get hurt, and I understand why they've sort of gone to the charade of, doing the skills and doing that stuff. You can't blame owners for saying, hey, I got a $13 million athlete that I don't want hurt. But at the same time, as a fan, that's why they're there, because they can skate around cones. Yeah. I want to see them skate around something that's moving.
The fastest skater, I think everybody knows who that is.
For sure.
Yeah, no, it's, some of your skits that you were doing. I saw you playing in the game out there with a nice, some of your highlights there was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a blast. That creator game was a lot of fun. There wasn't as many scouts in the stands as I thought there was going to be, so I didn't have to try as hard.
Well, you're looking like you're about 17, so you still got a couple years junior left.
I felt fresh. I felt ready to go. I was only out till 4 a.m. the night before, so I just barely broke curfew. Like it wasn't gas.
He could have played with us, eh?
Yeah, yeah. It brings back some
He
memories.
could have played on our team.
So, you know, the relationship with Pink Whitney, obviously Biz is part of your, you know, part of your contacts there. How's he? How's Biz?
Yeah, yeah, it's a tough question, you know. He's a good guy, but he's like, I don't know, as useful as like a pile of bricks, because you can build some stuff with him, but not everything, you know.
You know, we won Kraft Hockeyville here a couple of years ago. And when the NHL came in, we had, you know, part of it was we're rebuilding the ice, and, you know, they're teaching us just as much as we're, you know what I mean? It was an awesome experience. So we were here on the night crew. One of our coaches, I don't know, followed Biz on social media. And this is right when he was kind of getting big. And so we messaged him. We messaged him like 7 days in a row and nothing. Cricket. So Biz, if you're going to watch this, give us a shout out. I'd love to have you on, man. Mr. Big Time.
Maybe clear the air a little
You know,
bit on why he ghosted us.
Yeah. Why'd you ghost us, bud? But no, it's fun. He's fun to watch too. What's that?
I'm just telling Biz, stop biz leaguing him. You know, he's a good dude. He's
hilarious, man.
But he obviously he's not all there. I mean, you guys listen to his crap. Like there's not a lot going up top.
You know, being from Calgary, I said, Biz, we could share some stories, man, about the Stampede. Be a good time, man.
For sure. This one, we were at the Stampede with them, and like you guys, I can't remember what they call it, but you know when like you pour a beer into a boot and then you chug it out of your shoe or whatever.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I've seen that. Yeah.
So gross. So we're like in the Cowboys tent or whatever, and a lady walks past, and she was a little bit heavier. Like there's nothing wrong with it, but she was built, and Biz just yells at her like in her face, like, get over here. She comes over, gets her to give him her boot, does the beer thing, chugs it, slams it back on her foot, and shoos her away. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And she was just like all for it. She's like, yeah, and then just peaced out back to her friends.
I have I played with some guys from Alberta in the day, and got to spend some time, and I met the people, Northcott Bulls, the people that supply the bulls to the Stampede.
Yeah.
They were friends of. I was out spending some time with the Vandermeer family, and met them. Met a bunch of Cowboys. In fact, one of the greatest stories I'd ever seen about Alberta is we went to a rodeo one night, and we're sitting there with these guys, and everything's going good, and the cocktails are flowing, and everything's good, and it's about, I don't know, 1:30, 1:45, and all of a sudden, everybody's like, "Hey, you got my back?" I'm like, "Sure. What am I doing?" Well, the bar empties out, everybody fights, and then everybody goes back in for last call. Yeah, and I'm sitting there going, I like Alberta.
I tell you, the Stampede is definitely one of a kind, man. It's a 10 days.
I'd love to go. I've never been, but I'd love to go.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, debauchery, right? Like
100%.
Yeah.
There was some stupid statistics about divorces and all that stuff, rise and pregnancies and whatnot during the Stampede. It's not a myth.
No. Yeah. Let's hear some of these numbers.
Ridiculous.
No, do you go? You guys, I know you'd go every year if you could. Do you go every year that you're there? That you live at home?
No. I'm like good for like once every 3 to 5 years, because it's the same stuff and it's
every year
expensive, you know. But if you're like coming in for it, it's worth it. It's like going to Vegas. But you don't got to go every year, you know.
Yeah, get it.
Because it doesn't change.
No, it's still the same rides. They change the food every once in a while, and you get new musicians coming in, but it's the same crap year after year.
Well, it sounds like it's going to take 3 to 5 years to recover from it too. So
yeah,
if you're going hard.
So Doug Sauter, are you a Doug Sauter? You know Doug Sauter? He was a coach in Oklahoma City. Remember Doug Sauter? Yeah. So he runs. I don't know if he still does, because I ran into Doug last year. He used to do the chuck wagon races. And I think that is one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. Is the drivers of the truck wagon races. Yeah, it's crazy.
But they changed it. I went this past summer with my family, but they changed it. I don't know. I think the year before they're only running 3 wagons now instead of 4.
Oh, and that's a safety thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that the waypoints.
Too many Europeans playing, I guess. I don't know. Yes, I did say that.
That one will be audited. Okay?
Why? There was nothing wrong with that, right, Jacob?
No, that's true. Don Cherry said the same thing. Look what happened to him.
Ron McLean, you sell out.
Well, we talked a little bit before, Jacob, you guys go on the road quite a bit, which is awesome. Is this your full-time gig, or do you do something else as well?
I'm a mechanic as well. I fix cars when I'm home, and then when I'm on the road, I just live the dream,
Right on.
Good for you, man. I couldn't be happier for you. Yeah, it is, but you love what you're doing. You know?
I love every.
There could be worse
aspect
things.
of it. 100%. It's fun. It's definitely worth it, And I'm
Look at
still
the
young enough
people
to
that
work
you've, the
hard.
people that you've met, and the places you could go now and call some of them friends, and there ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Probably the biggest thing for you too is just and this might sound weird, but just the people, the hearts that you touch along the way with the little guys, the youngsters, and just encouraging these kids to be whatever you want to be, man. I'm sure that's part of it.
Oh, it's yeah. Some of the stories that we've got, some of the messages, it'll bring, I don't care how tough you are, it'll bring a tear to your eye, hearing some of this stuff and just the difference that can be made just by making funny videos. It's crazy what can be done. So it's very, very fortunate to get to do what I do.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That is it's very, like you said, you could be having the worst day, and you get on social media, you start watching these videos and you'll piss your pants. It's some of the stuff is funny, and the fact that you guys are players too is even better. You know what I mean? Because you go ahead.
One of my favorite jokes is because everyone thinks that we suck at hockey. So then when we lace up for with teams or alumni games, whatever it is, and then they're like, "What? You can you guys know this sport?" Yeah, this is the best. And then we just zip around and they're like, "Oh shit!" And they're just so blown away, and we're like, "That I love that. That's a good joke for me."
Yeah, I can see that, and that's watching you guys do your stuff, your drills, and your slap shot yesterday was, some of the 1-Ts that you guys do. It's hilarious because it shows that you guys have played, obviously.
Hardest shot ever.
And then when you're sitting in the dressing room drinking your Red Bull, you're like,
I was a cannon. I couldn't even see the last puck with the crossbar.
Yeah, and you weren't using a 65 flex, were you? That was more of a $110 or something.
I actually use 87 flex cut to 92.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
I like big, heavy slap shots. I don't want to get in close. I want to just kill people from the blue line.
Yeah, that'll boy. I hear you.
That's great.
Do you have any questions for us, Jacob, or anything that,
When's my tryout?
encouragement that we can share with some of our, what is it?
I'm looking for a net front guy in the power play, but I don't know about the point.
I know a guy that can fix a birth certificate if you're interested in coming down.
I can, I'll stand in front of the net. You see me eat the biscuits, just put one in my belly button. I'll knock in the ugly ones.
I'm glad you do because we're missing that.
Yeah, our power play is struggling a bit.
For both teams.
Guys, it's 10:30 p.m. beer league games. I'll still block shots. That's how dumb I am.
Love it.
So when you're playing beer league and stuff when you're playing beer league, are you gearing up all the way, or you rocking just elbow pads and really that's it?
No, I'm fully done. Yeah, I'm fully done. I got to fill up. I'm just, like I said, I'm a little guy, but I wear baggy jerseys so that when I skate really fast, it's got the flutter,
You got the Mike Modano flutter going.
You look fast.
Exactly. but I don't want to look like a pear, because if you don't wear shoulder pads, you just like kind of go out like that, and pear shape's just not my
Yeah,
style.
just like me.
Mike Tobin.
Yeah, right. Mike Tobin. Yeah, that's so you still play in the beer league out of Albert or out of Airdrie, or are you going to Calgary for that?
Airdrie for the most part. I'll go spare in Calgary, but I just try and it's every rink in Airdrie is 10 minutes away from my house. A lot easier that way.
Yeah, 100%.
No, are you married? Family?
Yeah, I got a wife and a kid, and I got number 2 on the way.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Yeah.
Corey's a good name with an E. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll mix it up. Maybe something like Synergy or Z Bubble or something like that.
Z bubble. Ultralight.
Yeah, ultralight.
Hey, those were the best ones. The ultralights were the best of them all.
Yeah.
I actually think I still have one in my rafters, to be honest.
The yellow beige one.
The yellow
That
Synergies
that
were
had
awesome.
a good. That was a nice feeling hockey stick.
Yeah.
Those other ones, that Z bubble, that thing was brutal. I think I was done playing by then, but it was terrible.
Horrible. Jay, what is it like to be an influencer on the internet?
Oh, that's a tough question. It's like I always tell people it's a dream I didn't know I had, because I didn't know that was like a possibility. Like I wasn't trying to do, social media. I was just trying to do it for the kids that we coached. But it's probably the coolest thing in the world. Getting to do something like this, work with all these different brands, meet all these cool people, shake a lot of really cool hands. And yeah, it's definitely arguably the coolest job in the world, I would say.
That's awesome. When did you realize that you knew, I guess when you sort of made it, I guess, that you were something special?
I don't even know if I'd say that right now. Like I know, like I'll say that I do good work, that we do good work, but at the end of the day, like we're all the same, like I coach hockey, you guys coach hockey, our outfits just look a little different. That's,
Well, if I'm watching you on social media, you've made it, because
100%.
I'm 48, and I can use Excel, I can use Word, I can turn a computer on. That's the extent of it. So if I'm watching you, I know you don't. I think that's awesome. Like you've influenced me. You've made me laugh. And I
Everybody that we talk to around the rink knows you guys.
yeah, like, and my kids, what you've done for my kids, the laughter at the times, and I was sitting there thinking when I said COVID, and we lived in Philadelphia, and then we had moved to New York, again, my career, and I'm going to ultimately say I was a little premature in saying COVID, because I literally think we were in Philly. So when you say 2017, that was our last year there, 17, 18, and then 18, 19 was we were in New York, and I just know I've kept following you, and that says a lot, at least to me, because I'm pretty fatty if this is funny or cool, and but it doesn't hit home. But I think you guys have done an amazing job. I still find you to be extremely humorous, and your passion for the game comes through. I know I said to my players yesterday, I'm still fooling somebody. I'm happens to be this guy right here. But, I'm 48 years old and I still get to go to the rink every day. Never made millions of dollars, but that's okay. I get to affect young people's lives, and I know Alec does, and I know you do, and congratulations for that, because it's well done.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you very
It's
much.
just the way you guys carry with the extreme humility is awesome. You're just a regular dude, just punching in, punching out, and I think that is it's so awesome.
That's cool,
It's awesome.
man. Like, I think it's great.
That's how I mean, that's how I've always felt, no matter who it is or who I'm talking to. It's just, I don't think anybody is anything more special than the next person. And the best story that I have about that is, so we're close with Bauer, and one of the girls that takes care of us, she was like, "Have you ever met Ed?" I was like, "No, I don't think so." This was at like a huge Bauer event. I was like, I don't think so. I don't think yet. And she's like, oh, I'll introduce you. He's the CEO of Bauer. I'm like, yeah, perfect. Like, love to meet him. And she was pretty new to Bauer at the time. So she's like, sees him and then sees I'm close. So she like runs over to guy. She's like, come on, I'll introduce you right now. I was like, all right, perfect. So introduced me to Ed. And I just start chirping him like immediately, just laying into him. Nothing crazy, like nothing over the top, like I'm trying to start a fight, but her face just drops. And she's like, and then everyone, like, we all leave, like we shake hands, it's all good. She's like, what did you do? Like, she thought she was losing her job. I was like, I don't really know what you're talking about right now. She's like, that's literally the highest in Bauer, and you just did that. And I was like, yeah, we put pants on the same way I do. Like, who gives a shit? So that's it. You know, like we're all just, you know, my influence is on the internet. Your guys' influence is in the arena. So we all have an important role to play in everybody's lives. But I just don't
100%.
think anyone's bigger than the next person. Maybe you have a bigger following, but that doesn't mean shit, you know.
Well, that sounds like Rhino hockey to me. A very blue collar kind of mentality. So
Yeah, 100%.
Sounds like you fit in perfect here.
Yeah, the story here, Jacob, and I know that you know, Corey aren't going to say anything, and the Corey, the owner, is a very proud, quiet Saskatchewan boy that him and Corey started this many years ago. It started as a rodeo barn. It's grown into now having 2 teams. I've known these gentlemen for a long time. And when I had the opportunity to come and be a part of it, it's something that I can assure you that grassroots Western Canada is at its finest right here every day. I might be from Brantford, Ontario, but I always loved playing with my boys from the West. And they took care of me, and they still do. And you'd be proud to see what goes on here, and it's a wonderful place, and they've done an amazing job.
Thank you.
Wow. Hopefully I get to one day, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And
shit. You know, I'll play. I'm ready to go, coach.
Right. Maybe Biz can fly down here with you.
yeah,
You can
get Biz, you know.
No, we'd rather have you. Don't get me wrong. 100%. I was thinking they'd pay for it.
Yeah, Biz is too old to play anyways, you know.
Yeah.
Don't need him breaking a hip or anything.
Yeah,
That's funny. But Jake, you know, I appreciate you taking the time to jump on with us, man. It's a pleasure that, you know, I'm just grateful that you reached back out to me, and having you on here has been awesome, man.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. Keep grinding, guys. I know it's a lot of work. It's going to feel like it's the hardest thing in the world, but if you guys stick to it, it's a beautiful thing what you can do with it.
Awesome, man. Again, guys, you know, can't thank you enough.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
it's been an honor to do this. I've never interviewed anybody in my life. That's probably obvious. But on another note, it was really cool to meet you, and nothing but good luck down the road for you, and our sincerest, you know, have a great day and keep her rolling.
Thanks, fellas. You too. Don't stop grinding.
Awesome. Thanks, bud. Take care, man. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, take care, fellas.
So long, bud. Thank you for watching this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please remember to like and follow. And remember, take care, comb your hair, and keep the stick on the ice.